Let's make rustic faux glassine bags. Come and join me. Hello and welcome to the Treasured Page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. And today I'm having a play. I'm playing with postage stamps, which you can see. So I'm just sitting here. I'm putting together some scrap packs, some giveaways. I'm getting together things that I'm going to be sending my members over on the coffee shop page. So if you haven't already had a look at the coffee shop or Ko-fi page, then have a look at the link below and you can go and have a look at my gallery and all the things. I've set up there some membership tiers, and I will do a proper announcement about all of that, but if you haven't already found it, then that is what's going on. And I'm just getting together some little giveaways and things for the people that have been so very kindly supporting me here at the Treasured Page. But what I want to show today, because I've just been sitting here thinking how I'm going to package them, and traditionally you would put stamps in a glassine bag like this. This is a shop bought, pristine, very nice, very functional, very lovely if you can get your hands on it, and looks great if it's got some stamps in it. So let's just say we're adding stamps into this for the purpose of gifting. Maybe, you know, it's fun if you've got a swap partner, or if you want to do rack mail. That's a pretty one. And they just look lovely in there, don't they? And that is how they would have been stored and transported and kept in the past. And if you get hold of glassine bags like this, you can age them by putting some ink or some coffee stain and just get that sort of brown tinge of time onto the paper. So that's fine. However, I'm running out. So anybody receiving a scrap pack from me will have a little bag like that with some stamps in it. So that's all fine, and that's coming out to the winners, the subscribers winners. They will all get that. That's coming out. So if you've got your address over to me, if you're a winner, you'll get some stamps in a bag like that. And this is what you could do with them, because I've now run out of the bags and I'm still needing to package up. So I was just sitting here and I was watching another YouTube channel, which is Sue from Paper Inspiration, and she and I are on the Clee Black Creation design team, and she'd put up her project for the month, and that was to make little bags with the backing from the kit from Clee Black Creations. And she added in these fussy cut butterflies, and I thought, oh, that is excellent. The butterflies are from Clee Black Creations, and I immediately went over there and I've been asking her if she can send me her lovely coffee coloured butterflies and her fairy butterflies, which are just beautiful. So it's butterflies. That's where I just went, right, we're doing butterflies today. And if you've been following along with my podcast, then you'll know that I'm into postage stamps this week, and I have been sorting out stamps, which has been a really nice, mindful, slow down task. I've been able to sit here and I've picked out all the butterfly ones from all the other stuff as well. So some of it wasn't any good. Some of it were flowers, so they've gone into another pile. And then these are all the ones with butterflies on. Some are very beautiful and vintage, and I shall be hoarding those for very special journals. And these I have decided are more modern, but they are still lovely with all the butterflies popping off, that they are perfect for junk journaling crafts. So these are the ones that are going to be added to the scrap packs along with everything else. And I am just now getting excited because I can see a few that I think would look really nice in a craft. So I might borrow a few just to show you some ideas. If you'd like to craft along, you are going to need some sort of transparent paper. I have got wax paper here, but that could be tracing paper, vellum. It could be some very fine parchment paper if you've got it, if you can get enough for the image to show through. Wax paper does a wonderful job of being completely transparent. And so this is what I'm using here, if you can see this one. It's by a company called PME wax paper. It's like deli paper, anything that's got that sheen to it. but it is a wax paper, so it's very difficult to glue on. The only thing I wouldn't be using is napkin, so that wouldn't work because that's too porous. You want something you can see through. So this idea is going to work for anything that's loose and small, little pieces of paper. Fussy cuts would be great, and obviously postage stamps work excellent, stickers, that sort of thing, anything you want to send to somebody. So what we'll be doing is making a bag. Nothing difficult, nothing that we haven't seen before. So far so good, I'm sure. So I'm just getting a very rough rectangle shape here, just using the tearing ruler. We're moving the stamps over to one side because that's what's going to go in our little glassine bags that we're making. You're going to need some other papers, scraps of different book page or decorative papers, anything that you have that is going to be fun, that you want to fit with your journal, your theme, your style. I'm just using up scraps of what I had from the last project. It's not freezer paper, it's wax paper. I understand that this isn't that readily available in America, but perhaps that's just in different parts of America, so let me know. It is distributed in America, and you can get it www.pmecake.com. So have a look. You might be able to find out where you can buy that if you can't get it readily in the supermarkets. What do you call them? Is it supermarkets? Not the mall. Where do you go? Where do you go? Where do you go to get your food? Costco. No, where do you go? I don't know. Well, this is being marketed to Europe as well, so I guess you guys can get wax paper. I'm not sure it's really used outside of the craft room anymore, is it? I don't know where you go. Where do you go in Australia, guys? Do you go? Is wax paper available for you? I hope it is. Anyway, that's what I'm using. New Zealand, are you good for wax paper? And South Africa, give us a shout. We've got Alison in South Africa. She tells me everything what's going on there, so that's good. All good in South Africa, near Durban. So that's a shout out to Alison. Thank you for your wonderful messages and your support. Yeah, let me know if you can get wax paper. If not, we could work out a way to get that to you. Right, what am I doing? I'm making bags. Let's make bags. So what we do, I'm calling this a tutorial. It's really a craft along. So gather the things, and what you will find is this would look very lovely sewn through a sewing machine. So if you're happy to put paper through a sewing machine, this is what I've used for this task, but we'll come up with a way in which you don't have to do that. I'm doing this a bit differently because I'm just going with the size of paper that I had. So this one is going to be a longer one, looking like this. So when the stamps are in it, they're going to be like that instead of like that. And what we could do, if you're feeling comfortable with a sewing machine, is you would sew down there, and then what we do is put something fun across the top. Torn edges in junk journaling is really interesting because when we put ink around, it sucks up the ink, so you get a nice effect when you ink the edges. So there we go, we've got it looking like that. I'll just grab the ink and see what it looks like with the blue. I'm going to just take the stamps out so that I can do this and get around here as well. So when it's torn, this wax paper, it seems to release the paper fibres, and the wax just seems to be a coating. It hasn't gone all the way through to the centre of the paper. I'm not sure what the paper is, but it feels waxy on both sides. Okay, so we've got that so far. Just open it up and let's add a few stamps in there. Looking at this, and I want to seal the sides of the bag and put something on the top. So we've seen something like this hanging in the shops before, and we've got the little tab top that goes up there. And no different here, but what I think my brain is going to sewing down the outsides just to introduce some interesting texture there with a stitch, some nice stitching. I think that's the way that I will tackle it. But if you're not able to sew on paper, if that's something that you either don't feel confident doing or you haven't got the machine to do it, then we could look at a different way. So this is one that I have sewn already, and I've used brown ink. Brown ink on this one and blue thread, and this one has got the blue ink, so they are different but equally fun. So gluing on a wax paper isn't going to work, but if you glue on tracing paper or vellum, then it would work. So wax paper is only for sewing, because it's going to be difficult to do anything else. The other idea I had, but this may be complete overkill for this idea because you're only wanting it to really deliver stamps, is to hole punch in 3 places and do it on the other side as well. And if stick with me, because this isn't what it appears, there is more to this than meets the eye. Okay, probably should have lined those up, but it actually looks like it worked out. Okay, so if you're not able to sew down the sides and make it look like this, then you could use this idea and maybe either put ribbon through it or thick yarn, or you could do this. You could take some paper strips, thin enough to pass through your punched holes, and make a sort of a chain or a tab like that. Then just glue these shut. This would look very pretty if you had some really nice decorative paper, and you could make it a feature on both sides, and you would just trim those a little shorter and they just look really sweet. Okay, so if you keep them long, I've just done the other side as well, you can now see how you could stick those tabs down onto the paper. And although it doesn't look fantastic at the moment, that could be really interesting if it was a shape that you wanted. Maybe it was more of a basket, or, you know, even if it's maybe a Halloween theme in the future, you could have something a little bit more dramatic, or a skull or something, anything, you know, this idea. But if we want to sort of pretty that up, once you've stuck them down, you could then put something else over the top of it, like a nice little flower embellishment, and all of a sudden you can see how that might work if we put a few more. Okay, so if we decorate them all the way down, they're going to look really neat, and that's going to be quite fun. They could be buttons, they could be squashed out paper buttons that we've done before. You know, the sort of thing where we've hole punched washi tape out, and then you could add those, and that be a nice look all the way down. And then in there, you've created a pocket, but it's sort of a belly band as well. So it will go up there with all your embellishments on the side and be a see-through belly band, but also be a pocket. So now if we add our stamps in there, and then you've got those all protected. So that looks really sweet on a page with some other interest on it. It works really nicely with a blue toned background. I really like that. It can come and live down the bottom, and you still see the image through. If you've got something on the page that you're not 100% sure about, you could just cover it up slightly. It works very nicely on darker pages, on tea or coffee stained papers, just a little bit of fun. So that was that idea, so we like that. Then what I'm trying to show you is this. So if you get the sewing machine on your pockets, and if you get them to either orientate this way or this way, we've got then the option to put on a top part to it, which we've all seen in a shop maybe. Now this is just a piece of paper that has just been cut and folded. It's just a scrap strip off of the atlas. And with an atlas or a book page, it's got text on it, and this way it's going to read upright. But when we put it onto the top of the little packet here, and if you tear it so it all fits to be perfect, then that's how that appears. And then you've got your little display of stickers, stamps or ephemera just able to swing freely, which is cool. You could stick that down onto a page and it just be simple like that. It could just be a collection of stamps that you've really got no intention of using. Perhaps they're ones that you don't really want to because they're too shiny. If you put them in a pack like this, you're going to dull down the shine and instantly give them all a home and it to work, because you've still got a pretty image on there. But some of them, like this one, some of them are really quite shiny. Well, you may not be bothered by that, but if you are, this is a way of dealing with it. And then on the back, because we've been able to read the front and we've flipped it over, so it all made sense when it was that way up and that was the front. But when we have the back of it, it's upside down, so you can't read it. That says Greenland, but it's upside down. But what if you do want to get at the stamps and this is Happy Mail and you're gifting it for the purpose of your reciprocant to think, oh lovely, I can craft with that. How do I get into it? Well, the answer would be to turn it upside down, tap it so that the stamps go to the bottom. You would then cut open the top and be able to get into it, so it's now a pocket, and you've just flipped the whole thing upside down. The writing on the bottom now makes sense, and then whoever's receiving this could stick this down onto a page and they would have access to the little pocket. They could then embellish it and do what they like. So it might need a little bit of explanation, but how fun is that? So it starts its life as a little packet that we see maybe sold in a shop, and then when they get it, all they need to do is turn it over, glue it down to the page, and then they can snip open the top, they can get to the stickers, and then they can further stick the sides down or trap it under something or fold it in or tuck it in and have it like that. But this would make sense. The whole thing becomes some interactive intrigue, but that's quite cool. And if you don't like the bottom, you can easily just glue on some fabric or further other pieces and just make that all pretty and fit to the theme that you would like, and then it all ties in with whatever you've got going on your journal. But that is a really cool idea. So here we go, guys. If anyone receives a scrap pack from me and you get one of these in the future, then you can flip it over and you'll be able to stick that into your journal, cut off the top, remove the contents and use that elsewhere in your journal. And you might even want to decorate the base here with something fun to fit your theme. Alright, so add the top to it and then you just staple it. So if you're using traditional metal staples, then you could do that, and then you could add something over the top to cover the staples if you're not a fan of staples. Alright, so that's your little Happy Mail there, and this one, if you want to put a top on it, that's fine, and this was only in case you didn't have sewing. You could do that idea, so just another idea, or use tracing paper and glue it, so that would be even more straightforward. And then that is your rack or your Happy Mail or your swap partner extras, and you could give that to them. And then when they get it, all they have to do is turn it upside down, cut open the top, so that could happen with scalloped edge as well, and then you can get at all things inside. So I'm just sticking this down now in this journal, which is my ideas journal, and I'm going to add that just to the corner there. So by using the wax paper, and its very nature is that it is a wax resist, it's not going to glue down easily, it'll just simply peel up. And this poses more of a design challenge, so that's been quite fun. So I'm putting that one up here. I hope that will be okay, just manoeuvre that into place. Right, I'm just adding in a thumb hole like that so we can get at it. That makes life easier. Now I can put my stamps in there just as a little fun find, and add this one. Lovely. Right, so we're going to now turn this into a pocket, putting in a thumb hole the same way as before, and just giving that the indication that that's where you can get at your things. The flip on the back of this page, I've made a hole for a split pin which comes with a fun pineapple. So I'm just going to push that through to the back here, and then over the way we just open that out, let that sit in the crease of that fold there, and I can put a bit of washi tape or something there, but that is hidden. And there we go. So now we've got that idea. So there is 2 ideas in my ideas journal. And from there we can then add a fun little journaling spot. So now we've got a pocket and a tuck and a belly band. It may be really fun to add a postcard to the back of that, and that could be there. So that is really interesting if you've got some fun ephemera from a little weekend or a day out. You could put the ticket of where you went, you could put maybe the loyalty card of the coffee shop, and then a postcard of where you went for that particular fun activity. And that is how you could make a really cool page, still see everything through it. And just to finish off this fun page idea, I'm adding a little bit of glue there. I just fancied some fabric going down on there just to give a little bit of a fluffy element to it, and I found a little snippet of something I had from the Marianne North journal. So if you are following along, all the playlists are here on YouTube. You'll be able to have a look and see what we've got going on over there. We've got more stories from Marianne coming up. She's off to Chile, so you can have a look at the playlist and you can catch up if you haven't seen that before. And I'm going to now get organised with my stamps because I think that that's a winning idea. So I'm going to make more of those and put those into packs, which I will then be sending out to members over on the Ko-fi page. If you'd like to become a member, do go and have a look at the link below for the Ko-fi coffee shop, and you will be able to see what I'm talking about on that. I just wanted to show you this other idea of trapping the stamps into the wax paper just with some threads which are higgledy-piggledy sewn around. It's just a really interesting idea that could then be put on as a topper onto something else as a decorative element. It takes away any modern shiny surface to a stamp, and it just brings some interest. So that could go on a page. It could be just something that you could then have some writing space on the back if you perhaps sew it onto another piece of paper. And then I've just got a couple of these bags that we've been talking about, so I'm just going to show you how easy it is to fill. And there we go. So I hope you've enjoyed the videos and watching along, and you can of course press the bell icon so that you don't miss my videos, because sometimes they do come out on odd days. That's entirely down to my schedule, and hopefully I'm trying to get to more settled times, but it has been really busy for me. And just, I think this is a lovely idea for Happy Mail, so we just add them in there. Once you've got everything assembled, it comes together quite quickly. I'm just using book page here. So all I do is just tear down the papers from an old book, and this is just an old paperback. It's not vintage particularly, it's just one that's been left out, so it shouldn't really be too expensive. But there we go, we can just add that on there like that. And just add the staples to the sides, taking the book pages, which was the atlas that I'm wanting to use up, and just add in some glue. Just using the art glitter glue because it grabs nicely, will work fine over the top of this vintage book page. So we just put it there and you get a very small little peep through of the book page underneath, which is really sweet, like that. And then just lay that one in there as well. And it really is as simple as that. There we go. So there we have 3 lovely ideas. And then all you would do is you would flip them over and flip them over. And then you're still able to read what's on the other side, and these can be cut open from the top and turned into pockets in the way I've shown. Otherwise, they are just fun little things, and there we go. And if you didn't want to fuss about with gluing, you could just add a paper clip and then you wouldn't need to worry about the staples, so that's another way of doing it. So there we go, lots of ideas on how to do some pockets for some cute little ephemera. Everything's nice and flat to go into a journal and look fun, and it's a fantastic giveaway. So there we go, I hope you've enjoyed that, little ideas of what you can do. And fun to give things to family as well if you want to put something inside a greeting card or keep them guessing on how they're going to get some money out. It's quite a fun way. If you change up your paper to a theme, a birthday theme, you could even put some fun pocket money in there for a young person in your life, and then they can try and fathom out how they're going to get into it. I'm sure it wouldn't take them very long, but the fact that they have to work something out is quite good. So there we go, some interesting ideas of how you can just use standard scraps from your kitchen drawer if you have such a thing. Just have a look at what transparent papers that you have and then put it to use. And there we go, that's just a quick idea to bring some inspiration your way. A quiet craft, and we're here to just relax and sift through our stamps and create something fun. So thank you very much everybody for watching, and above everything else, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.